refuses to be silenced. What I uncovered wasn't a single mistake. It was a system problem, quietly repeated, professionally protected, and rarely challenged by those without money or power. My name is Christine Sawicky. I'm an investigative researcher, legal advocate, and artist. For years, I've fought inside the American justice system alone, documenting patterns that were never meant to be seen. I wasn't supposed to win. I wasn't even supposed to survive it. But faith kept me standing. Silence is how the machine survives. This book is how it doesn't. It's about what happens when an ordinary citizen refuses to disappear, when documentation replaces intimidation and persistence outlasts power. With your help, we can bring this story to life. Your support will fund the writing, production, and development of Project Justice, the book that begins the journey and the film that will carry it worldwide. Together, we fight back with faith, with courage, and with light. I'm publishing this book independently because systems don't correct themselves. They're corrected by people willing to tell the truth publicly. Join me. Let's tell the story they tried to erase.
Christine Sawicky, welcome.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for having me.
I love that trailer, the teaser. It's fantastic.
Thank you. It's intense.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah.
I kind of lived this story with you a little bit because I think we met when you were kind of first being ripped off, and then, there was the lawsuit, and I remember reading the pleadings, and boy, it was really something even back then.
It was intense. And it started as a personal journey, just a copyright case. And I'm sure AMC wishes they would have just given me my show back at this point.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm like, it started as a personal journey. And Michael, I am telling you, if you would have told me back when I knew you 10 years ago, whatever it was, that would be a systemic issue, that I would look into it and start documenting and understand, I never would have believed you. It's insane.
No, it's crazy. So take us all back to where this started. Where did the concept come from? And
well, the concept came, I had a business partner who had passed away, Bob Hernandez. We had started the show as Sons of the Legends. I was getting referred into everybody, all the top executives in Hollywood, for the show. I had Derek Frazier attached, Smoking Joe Frazier's son, to our version. We had interviewed Dr. Dre's son, Curtis Young. I had, who else did we have? It was so long ago. Patrick Ewing's son. So it was just, essentially, that was it. I was getting referred into everybody. My business partner passed away. That's when everything, he used to work for Akon. That's when everything went haywire. It was insane. I watched people who I had helped them for a nonprofit. I put them on stage to get them exposure. I watched those same people turn around and assist in helping to steal and create the show. And all they did was change the cast and the title. And I didn't know what had happened. It all happened so fast. But it taught me life. I'm extremely grateful for the situation. I was able to stop the first version they ran, Seeds of Hip Hop. Eugene Young, actually, he was, I think, president of Ryan Seacrest Productions or something like that at the time. I'd gotten put on the phone with him because they were running promos for Seeds of Hip Hop on VH1. And a gentleman, one of my clients for my full-time job there in LA, he had said, he had left a message for Eugene saying, Christine Sawicki's going to call you. Give her a call. You're going to want to talk to her. And I sent a cease and desist over to Curtis Young's manager. They took those promos down. Eugene Young did what was right. And then I got another call saying that now your show's running as Growing Up Hip Hop on WeTV. I said, you got to be kidding me. And it was with the same people. All they did, like I said, they at first online, they were actually using our title, Sons of the Legends, with the hip hop members that were in Growing Up Hip Hop, and Seeds of Hip Hop. So they were just switching in and out the Sons of Hip Hop Legends. And it was even somebody that I had helped with business and was talking to kind of at the time. He helped, and he was actually on the show. So I don't know. You do the math, Michael. I'm just a good kid from Minnesota trying to make an honest living, but I'm telling you, it's the best thing that ever happened to me.
And why do you say it's the best thing that ever happened to you?
Because I have an opportunity of a lifetime right now. I am in a position to be able to assist numerous artists, regular Americans across the world. If it wasn't for this situation, if they would have just given me my show back, I never would have investigated judicial ethics. I never would have looked into the financial disclosures of judges. I wouldn't know about the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals or the Supreme Court of the United States patterns of racketeering. I wouldn't know the former Solicitor General for the United States of America as she was opposing me, saying that bribery of a judge was legal. I have been put into the top rooms in the world. And for that, I am grateful because you can't pay for those connections. They're not allies of mine yet. I do have hope. I have a briefing memo that's circulating on Capitol Hill with an oversight committee discussing judicial ethics and financial disclosures and the integrity of the judiciary just in general, legislative action. So it's like I am talking to everybody that people would love to speak with. And for that, I am grateful. I'm grateful.
Well, it's been quite a journey. I remember I
Mhm.
was kind of there at the beginning of the journey, and
Yes, you were.
we did an interview back then, and some of the
Yes.
people that follow me probably remember that.
Yes. Yes.
And it was, boy, that's been quite a journey since then.
It's been 10 years of insanity. And I think, we kind of talked about this offline. It's like if you hadn't gone through it, if somebody would have told me, Christine, this is how it works. This is what they do to people that stick up, for themselves against like the system in general. I never would have. I'd have been like, no way. You're insane. I thought if you go to the police help you. Like, I mean, call me naive, whatever. I'm from Minnesota originally, so it's like I have morals and ethics. I would have thought if you filed a lawsuit in the courthouse, I didn't think my filing fee would be considered a donation because that's kind of what it looks like, a 501c3 donation. There's no due process. There's nothing there. And so, you know, I'll take it. I learned so much about the judiciary in the United States of America. It's insane.
Well, I remember going over to China, my first
Yeah.
trip to China, and them saying, "Hey, well, what's different here?" And I looked at them and I said, "We have a functioning court system." And boy, I said it with such conviction.
I know
And
what you're talking about. I
and
know.
now, I've seen so many people who've been wronged by the judicial system, people who are
Mhm.
sitting innocent in prison right now, corrupt
Right.
cops in Compton having put them away,
Yep.
people who, you know, just got suckered into some bullshit, or
Mhm.
somebody, a cop, said, "Hey, I like your car. I'm going to put you in prison with a murder. The car's going to get impounded, and I'm going to go down and get that car for 5 cents on the dollar." I mean, I
Yeah.
have seen just the craziest shit.
I know. I know. I know, and it's not okay. It's not okay. Um, Someone like me. I mean, I've never done anything wrong in my life. I've gotten a speeding ticket, but I've never tried drugs.
Well, hey,
I don't have
the
any
speeding
issues.
ticket, that's what did it. So the whole system came down on you because you once got a speeding ticket. But
No,
even if
they
you
came.
hadn't yeah, even if you hadn't gotten that speeding ticket, I know they would have come after you.
They did, and they had a tracker in my car. To this day, they still will not tell me who is tracking me. It's just this BS after BS statement coming in, like fake investigation. I have fake police like letters. Do you know that one of the defendants that I listed, he was listed in my racketeering lawsuit because I filed a racketeering lawsuit against federal judges, LAPD, is it 5 high-level attorneys, um SCOTUS clerks, everybody, right? um but when I did all of that, like it became insane. Like it's insane. Like I had an LAP, I think I told you, Detective Ventura. He was like, well, there's a tracker in your car, but you weren't kidnapped or murdered. I'm like, excuse me. Well, thank God. I mean, thank God for me, I'm lucky, right? No, I mean, what are we even doing? I had the city attorney. She called me. So all they do is like, they just gaslight you and they just like lie and they just keep lying and lying, right? And it's so, the more they lied, most people would get discouraged. I would get motivated. It would just make me more mad. I'm like, no, you're not going to do this to me. You're not going to bully me around. Like, I've never even done anything. Like, if you're doing things wrong in your life, you're not telling me what I'm doing in my life. That's not how this program goes. So it was just kind of the city attorney, she said, "Well, you need to get an attorney." I'm like, "So if I get raped in your city, I don't go to the police. I need to go get an attorney first?" Like, does this even add up? And I put all of this, but they just bury it. They bury it, they fudge dates, they cite case law that's not real. It's just, in my case, essentially they just came up with, well, bribery of a judge is legal.
And that they put that in writing.
I'm not kidding. What is the legalese is like, even in the face of allegations of conspiracy or bribery, it does not pierce the veil of judicial immunity. I'm like, do you hear yourself? Like, do you hear yourself? I was trying to speak with the FBI. They wouldn't meet with me. I was like, hey, I have all of these financial disclosures for these judges. I'm telling you, there's a pattern. They're like, you can't prove anything. I'm like, no, I literally have all of their disclosures. And then I finally got a meeting here in Minnesota. I flew out to Washington, D.C. I wanted to meet with Kash Patel. I'm like, no, like, this is it. What's the saying? If you see something, you say something. I'm like, I'm here. I saw a lot. Like, what are we doing? Can I say something? And then they give you the runaround. They won't let you have a meeting that, like you're supposed to set up a meeting before you get out there, but you can't actually do that. So it's just all this cycle of BS. But when I met with the FBI agents, they're like, well, I mean, other than the financial disclosures of the judges, do you have anything that shows bribery? I'm like, I don't know. You mean like the email from my ex that says AMC tried to pay me off because they said you were becoming a pain in their ass? I mean, other than that, like, which is in the courts, and then they bury all my evidence, right? So it's just like, who knew? It's insane. They can literally say anything, make up anything, and then they scrub the entire internet and they make their own narratives. They said that I lacked evidence for my breach of contract claim against AMC Networks. I'm like, I have a signed non-disclosure from the senior VP of AMC Networks from his AMC email. What do you mean I lack evidence? Like, what are you even talking about? But if you look it up online, that's what you're going to see.
Yeah, because they can sanitize the record.
Yeah. And they did. They did it throughout every single court case. So I was actually going to file a third lawsuit because I had all of the evidence. It just kept coming and coming. It just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But essentially, it doesn't matter what you file in the judiciary. You're wasting your money. They can bury anything. They will do it. They'll give it to the judges that they know will bury it. So that's why I said, well, I'll just tell the real story. Then what are you going to do? You guys want to tell your little story online? It's story time. Everyone sit down in a little circle. Let's talk about what Christine did, which it's all fake. I'm like, well, I'll just have story time too. and,
Well,
and
and
it's gonna
that's
be
the
a
key,
it's gonna
you
be a
know,
bombshell book.
for First Amendment right. You have the right to
Yeah,
say whatever you want to say.
yeah. I mean, I got
So,
threatened already.
did you see like the exact same thing that we see in Congress with people who are career politicians? They make 180 grand a year and they're worth $100 million. I mean, how does that happen? Is it that same way with the judges?
Yeah. Yes. So if you look, so for example, like there is Verizon. Oh my God, Verizon. So Gibson Dunn is the law firm that represents Verizon, AMC Networks, AOL. Um,
Yeah,
they
Century
have the
City.
judges. Yeah, they have
Yeah,
the judges. They give them like, so when I pulled all the financial disclosures, so my judge, there was originally it was Dolly Gee. She was the first original judge. She recused herself because she says she knew several of the defendants, even though she knew the defendants when I filed my claim, but they thought it was just going to be this little joke show going on. But then they send it to, she ended up recusing herself. And then they sent it to Christina Snyder, I think, and then it was Michael Fitzgerald, and then it's Gary Klausner. So Christina and Michael both recused themselves. So it was just like this a couple of weeks of like recusals, right? Professional recusals. But these are all the judges that if I pulled all their financial disclosures, I can tell you where their money is, the cases they looked into, the cases they resided over, the cases they dismissed when they owned stock in them. Gary Klausner, that was my judge. I mean, he didn't even sign any of the orders. I think it was the Department of Justice. I think it was their attorney, with the clerk. Nothing was signed. But if you look up Gary Klausner and his cases for Verizon over and over and over and over and over again, he's assigned cases where he owns stock in Verizon. And the cases are dismissed or, forced to stipulated agreements. So then you're paying pennies on the millions that they probably could get if they went to trial. So it's a business program, right? That's what they do.
well, America is just one big commercial enterprise.
I know if I did any of this, if I did one thing, that's the crazy part. If I did just one little crime, I'd be in jail for the rest of my life.
Well, and that's just it because we don't really have these rights that are guaranteed to us in the Constitution. I
Right.
mean, I know a former mayor who was
Yeah.
he was guaranteed the right against double jeopardy, but for him, that didn't matter. They tried him twice for the same crime, even after he won it on appeal the first time. Here it
It's
comes
what they do.
again, second one, because the Constitution didn't apply to him that day. And
Well, but the
really,
Constitution doesn't apply to anybody that
no,
opposes them. It doesn't.
yeah.
It just doesn't. And so I even, in my petition for writ of certiorari in the Supreme Court of the United States for my racketeering, I literally showed, because you have to show a circuit split, right? And it's almost comical that I was even discussing whether bribery of a judge was illegal or not, right? And I pointed to three different cases where the Department of Justice came out with indictments and said that bribery of a judge is illegal. In this circuit, even in the Ninth Circuit where my case was filed, right? I said, in all those cases, bribery of a judge is illegal, but in my case, it's legal. It doesn't even pierce the veil of judicial immunity. And as a matter of fact, you're also there. We're going to also represent the judges that I sued. So my tax dollars that I pay for to this country are being used to represent the judges that I sued who were stealing from me in the first place. So I'm paying for their representation because the former Solicitor General for the United States was representing them. What is going on?
Yeah.
And she owns stock in BlackRock. So it's like, it's so disgusting. It's so disgusting that I literally, when I got these financial disclosures, I kind of like, I wish I could go back to the days where I was I thought the world was sunshine and rainbows, and I was just an artist that was like, "Yay, come check out my artwork. I'm really good, and I can play multiple characters, and I studied Meisner for acting, right?" I swear to God, it would be so much better. Um, but it's just not the way it is. It's just not reality, and
Well, yeah, you treaded into ownership, and
yeah,
they didn't want anybody to be competitive in that
yeah.
genre. They want to be the owners.
Yeah, well, and I actually the senior VP of AMC Networks at the time, I had actually discussed with him because um I said to him, "I get that I'm not a seasoned producer and you've never worked with me and you don't know that I can carry a show." And quite honestly, did I think I could carry a show? Probably not, but I mean, maybe. I mean, I got everybody else on board and I reversed the process probably. Um and instead of doing that, because I said I want to retain creator rights, I'm really the creator of this. That's where all the money is. We all know that. That's where all the money is made. And that's when they said, "Oh, thank you, but no thank you." He sent an email prior to like saying no thank you. This all looks really great. um, but then he took one of his seasoned producers and made the show.
Yeah.
And then it's
Wow.
just it's what they do. It's how the copyright laws are designed right now.
Yeah. And so had
Mhm.
you like registered a treatment? Did you go to the copyright office, get it all
Of
registered
course.
beforehand?
Of course.
So you
I
had
had
all
everything.
that in place.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter because what they do is the copyright laws right now, they're honestly designed where these high-level attorneys, they know exactly how to get around the copyright laws. They just change it enough based on the laws. They get sued in court and then they win in court. It's willful infringement across the boards by these people. They know they can get away with it. They know how to get away with it. They change it just enough, they tweak it, and they move on. Most shows don't have exact copying. So their promos, their trailer and their promos were exactly what I had in my PowerPoint. That's unusual. All they did was change like the cast and the title. So that's unusual that I had all of that, but even then, it doesn't matter because the courts will bury it. They fudge the dates. They suppress exhibits. Because
Yeah.
why? The judges own stock in
Yeah.
Verizon, AOL, all the, you know what I'm saying? And it's just the way it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States. And like BlackRock and Vanguard, AMC Networks, because I was so confused as to why these judges, like they were threatening me like you can't if you file anything else in the whole Central District of California, we're going to return it back to you and blah blah. I'm like, and if you file any future motions, they're already going to be denied even though I didn't file anything yet. So you're denying motions that you don't even know what I'm writing. Like it was insane how much pushback I got. That's how I knew that it was something bigger than just my case. And that's when I started pulling the financial disclosures for these judges. Percy Anderson, when I served him, do you know what they did to my server at the courthouse? I thought he was going to have a nervous breakdown. They chased him out of the courthouse over the balcony. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is insane." He was scared for his life. They had the head of the head of security at the courthouse actually call me and say, "You need to have him come and pick back up these documents." And the only reason they gave him back to him was because I said, "Are you in the business of blocking service?" And I said, "I suggest you give those back. There was a proper service done. This needs to stop right now."
Wow.
But they actually called me, the head of the courthouse. "You can't do this. Blah! Everything's a mess. Blah." Like the whole Central District of California, the courthouse imploded. And I was just like, "This is insane. Like, how has nobody else sued these people?" And the Ninth Circuit, they're just as bad. Molly Dwyer, the clerk over there, holy cow. It's bad.
So we tried to sue Maxine Waters,
Yes,
and I was running around trying to serve her, and I finally got her served. She was evading service.
of course. Of
And
course.
so then a default judgment happens because
Yeah.
they were so above the law they didn't even have to answer. And
Did you know that
so,
Josh Sapan didn't respond to my complaint? The 30 days lapse that he had to answer my response or my complaint, he didn't even respond. And then all of a sudden, like when I served the judges, I successfully served them. That's when Gibson Dunn came on board and they're like, "Oh yeah, can we have a 30-day extension?" But their time had already elapsed, but it didn't
yeah,
matter. It didn't matter.
none of it matters because
None
we
of it
couldn't even
matters.
get the clerk to enter a judgment even though it had lapsed. We kept
Yes.
resubmitting it. They're saying you spelled Waters wrong. I mean, how could you spell Waters wrong? You misspelled her name. And
No.
all this craziness happens. And then finally
Yes.
we just say to the clerk, look, you're either going to enter it or we are going to sue you. And then the clerk finally enters the default judgment. But it doesn't matter. It
It
doesn't
doesn't matter.
matter. None of that matters.
I
They're
sued
gonna come
clerks
back and
too.
do yeah, they're gonna come back and do
Whatever they
whatever they
want.
want to do. Yeah.
They literally, so they had for my racketeering lawsuit, they ended up having the president of the state bar of San Diego. Okay, he came in. That was just one of, they had, between paralegals and attorneys, I think there was approximately like 17 people opposing just me representing myself, which is nuts. But he came in and he was just, it was chaos, mass chaos, and they did whatever they wanted. And I even, like, I tried to, like, heart to heart because I, like, at some point I still thought people had like souls. And I was like, because I have a soul, I'm like, I'm a good person. Like, how can you do this? Like, you're like, on your weekends, I think he's like head of like the ethics, like, for all the incoming law students or something like that. And I was like, don't you feel bad? Like, how can you represent these people? One of their attorneys, I was like, you went to Harvard. Why would you throw away Harvard on this?
Yeah.
Because
But
they
it's
know they have
about the
everything in the
money.
bag.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's about the money, right? I mean,
Yep.
there's so
Yep.
much money involved in a television show. There's spin-offs, there's merchandising, I mean, what do you estimate your losses were on
At this
losing?
point,
Yeah.
well, when they were estimating, when it was just the number one show before the whole government got involved, the show was around 500 million.
And you got
That was before spinoffs.
nothing. Yeah. Not only did you get nothing, you got to spend all your time doing
All my time,
litigation.
all my money, all the things they ruined. They successfully ruined everything. They were talking, I was in magazine articles prior to this where they were like, Christine's the next Steven Spielberg. Um, I can tell you that every single business partner that I had, keyword, um, is gone. When I filed lawsuit, every single person disappeared. I was in disbelief. But again, I took it as, well, I'll just take over everything. I found out everyone's payoffable. I was like, so I'll just win all this, write a book, and come out with a movie, and come back as the CEO of Hollywood.
There you go.
I was like,
And
screw them.
and your timing is perfect because Hollywood is in such disarray right now.
It is, but it was. I think it was back then. It just, nobody. I think we're at a different, like, 10 years ago when I first started all this, everyone was like, "You're a conspiracy theorist," ah, whatever, right? And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like, I literally, all I talked about was like, I said a statement and then I had an email or something backing it up, showing exactly that it was a fact, right? But I think the world has changed now with all the fraud coming out in the government and all that kind of stuff. Where now I'm like, yeah, this is what's happening. This is what my book is going to be about. And they're like, well, duh, of course that's how it is. Oh, well, duh, sorry. I'm like, I thought I was a conspiracy theorist. I kind of missed the title. It was, it caught on after a while.
Well, I'm a
Um,
known conspiracy theorist, right?
right, right. But I'm telling you, Michael, you were the first person that you were like, no. And you came in and you had my back and you went into that first meeting with AMC Networks, that attorney, and it was incredible. And to this day, you are the only one that still knows that it's the truth because you went through it yourself.
Oh yeah. Well, I went through it myself, shortly after I met you.
Oh yeah, okay.
Created something on my own, and and of course I'm barred legally from talking about my, because that's what they do. It's like you take this
I'm
little
not barred from
pittance and
anything. I
yeah,
can talk about whatever I want. I don't care.
exactly. Yeah.
You should have seen it, Michael. They threatened sanctions on me. They wanted me to retract my racketeering lawsuit, right? They're like, we're gonna give you a 21-day harbor, whatever, what is it? I can't remember the name of it anymore. Harbor notice or something like that, where we're gonna file sanctions. I'm like, sanctions against me? For what? I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm the
But
only one that's not doing something wrong around here.
you're like, hey,
Like,
I paid that speeding ticket. You can't tack fines on top of that.
it's just, but I think the only reason it worked with me though, um, is because I never, I never stopped believing that something positive could come from all of this. And I have a clean background. I'm talking if I would have done one thing wrong, they would have had an absolute heyday with it. But I think that's the only reason that this is all working. I think I think that this is part of who I've become. I'm grateful for the opportunity. I actually care about other people, sincerely. I care that this doesn't happen to somebody else because I can tell you right now, I don't know anybody else that could go through this and still stand up and be like, anyway, so I'm back again. Spent 10 years. I think I was telling you kind of off record before that there's a journalist. He's like, Christine, I have been following your story for 10 years on Facebook. And he goes, and I'm going to be honest, at first when you started posting, I thought you were on meth. I'm like, what? I'm like, I've never done anything wrong in my life. And he goes, but now it's happening to me. The same thing's happening to me. And he goes, I've only been dealing with it for a year. He's like, you've been going through this for 10. So now I just, I made it through all the gaslighting. I made it through all the campaign like smears for my reputation. I outlived it all. I don't think they thought I would still be here.
And yet here you are.
Hi,
It,
guys.
yeah. Now you're going to do the tell all. You're going to write a
I
tell
am, and
all
it's gonna be
book.
amazing. It's gonna be amazing. And I had one lady come up to me. She's got a relative that works at BlackRock in Australia. She goes, "How much would BlackRock have to pay you not to make this book?" I said, "Have you lost your mind? That's not even like an option. I'm gonna make more money than they could even offer me on the
Well,
film and the book."
I remember having that conversation with you early on saying, well, okay, so, how much money is it that you want? And you're like, money? I don't want money. I want my show back.
I want
I
my
want my,
show back. I
yeah.
want it done. Yeah. And I
You're
would
like,
tell everybody, I'm
money?
like, yeah, because it's not about the money.
Yeah.
Because I had sitting in my back pocket 5 or 6 other intellectual property shows or whatever it was. And if I didn't stick up for myself on this first one, they were just going to take everything. I couldn't possibly afford to litigate all these people and all these different executives and all these different shows. That's insane. So it's what they do. But yeah, no, like, and I just, it baffled my mind that I always say, I'm like, I don't negotiate with thieves. Like, you don't take my apple, and I'm like, hey, I guess I just want 50% back, and I'm good. We'll call it a day. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how this works. No,
Just
took
give
my
me a little
apple.
slice.
I want the whole apple back, and I want 7 more for you bothering me and wasting my time. Like, what are you even talking about?
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
an attorney show up at the dog park in LA. He's like, well, what if you took $500,000? That could change your life. Like, this guy's so stupid. $500,000 on a $500 million show. Have you lost your mind? Like, get this guy
Yeah.
out of here.
Yeah, the numbers just it's like stealing your car and giving you back the steering wheel. Here you go. Here's the steering wheel. You're like, "Oh, okay, we're good."
We're good.
I didn't
Thank
need
you
the
for the
wheels or
crumbs.
the engine. No, the trunk, whatever was in the trunk. No, I just the steering wheel. I'm good.
But so many people do it. They do it to so many people. They do it to so many people. And you know that. It happens every day. I just had in a conversation with an executive um about a couple of weeks ago, a week ago, whatever it was. And I was like, it's going to happen today. It's going to happen in 30 seconds from now. The copyright laws are designed to protect the studios. They're always going to rule in favor of themselves. The city's always going to rule in favor of themselves. I went through the SCOTUS docket of all the cases that were petitioned to be heard in the Supreme Court of the United States over and over and over again. I just looked at them. City of Los Angeles, City of Riverside. Oh, we're not going to hear that case. Like, it's such a joke. Everything's a joke. The FBI is a joke. The LAPD is a joke. The judiciary is a joke. Our Congress is a joke. We can't do this. You can't have a country like this. We have a two-tier justice system. That's a joke. And I was telling the gentleman, like I said last week, I was like, the Epstein files, like something as stupid as the Epstein files, right? Just why can't these girls get justice? If I were to padink a little kid, which I never would, but if I were to, I would, as a regular American, thrown in jail, and I'd probably get murdered in jail because that's what they do to pedophiles in jail. No. But if you're in the top club of America, no problem, right? It doesn't matter. You're in the club. You can just buy your way out of it. You never get held accountable. But did we get a pause? There comes a moment in every life where silence becomes betrayal, where truth demands a voice, and that voice refuses to be silenced. What I uncovered wasn't a single mistake. It was a system problem, quietly repeated, professionally protected, and rarely challenged by those without money or power. My name is Christine Sawicky. I'm an investigative researcher, legal advocate, and artist. For years, I've fought inside the American justice system alone, documenting patterns that were never meant to be seen. I wasn't supposed to win. I wasn't even supposed to survive it. But faith kept me standing. Silence is how the machine survives. This book is how it doesn't. It's about what happens when an ordinary citizen refuses to disappear, when documentation replaces intimidation and persistence outlasts power. With your help, we can bring this story to life. Your support will fund the writing, production, and development of Project Justice, the book that begins the journey and the film that will carry it worldwide. Together, we fight back with faith, with courage, and with light. I'm publishing this book independently because systems don't correct themselves. They're corrected by people willing to tell the truth publicly. Join me. Let's tell the story they tried to erase.
I had to play that again because I got booted off of my own show, and I think they figured out where the internet was coming from. I mean,
well, you know what? I told you last night, my whole phone's been hacked. This thing,
yeah,
I don't know who's texting me or who's not.
that's crazy. Well, I
It's
just
like-
experienced it.
Yeah. No, it's totally, like I said, my mom came to me yesterday and she goes, "Why are you being so rude? Why aren't you texting me back?" And I said, "What are you even talking about?" She showed me on her phone 7 texts that she had sent to me, and I looked at not one of them had I received. And then my dad says, "Yeah, that's what I thought too. I thought you were being rude." I'm like, "What?" He's like, who knows? But you know what that means, Michael? You know what that means? We're on the right path. That's all that
Exactly.
means. And I'm not going away. I'm not afraid. I will not back down from these bullies because this needs to stop today. It's over. It cannot continue on. There's too much going on. It's too unfair to too many people. Um, and we just need to start over in this country. We need to like get back to integrity, and it's in companies. It doesn't matter if it's just the judiciary. It's in your companies that you work for, right? Like if you're working for a company, there's no integrity. Companies don't do what's right anymore. They do the same things. It's not just the judiciary, it's not just the FBI, it's everywhere. It's our country. It's who we are. It's what we've become. And I feel like this is just like anybody, there's people that are alcoholics, right? They got to hit rock bottom before they can build back up. That's what we got to do. It's over. You can't have a two-tier justice system. You can't be doing all this nonsense. It's sickening. It really is. Like I can sit up here and I can laugh, right? But I'm looking at a briefing memo, right, that I've sent to Capitol Hill. And why is it taking so long to address judicial ethics? I mean, that should be standard operating procedure. We have no oversight on those. The Administrative Office for the United States Courts. I pulled all the financial disclosures for the Financial Disclosures Committee, all the judges that reside on that committee, right? The only one I will tell you, the one guy that helped me is the former chair of the Financial Disclosures Committee, David L. Bunning. That guy's solid. So I needed financial disclosures, and they were stalling and stalling and stalling, and they didn't give them to me till after my case was dismissed, of course, right? Because wait for it, they own stock in Verizon and
Oh,
AOL.
yeah.
Wait for it. But he was the only one that helped me. And guess what happened to him? I called and I said, "Hey, David, I need your help again." I left a message. I was talking to one of his members in his chamber. And he goes, "He's no longer the chair of the Financial Disclosures Committee." I go, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Did he resign?" He's like, "No, he did not resign." Gone. Daisy Rojas, one of the only girls that helped me in the Central District of California to help me get my fraud on the court motion put on the docket, because they were playing around with that for like a month, pretending they couldn't find it. I don't know where it is. Whatever. She went on a leave of absence, I think, or something like that. I'm getting these like bounce back emails like out of office, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, where's Daisy Rojas? She's the only one that helped me. So instead of rewarding the people that are doing things wrong, I think it should be the other way around. And I think now's a perfect time for it. I think it's an amazing opportunity in this country.
Absolutely. But you're circulating this up on Capitol Hill right now, and Capitol
Yes,
Hill is trying to stonewall all the payoffs that they have made because of sexual harassment. I mean, think about that. And
I know.
all the records from before 2004 are just purged.
I know.
And there's
That's what
like,
they do. They purge everything.
yeah,
And who's going to hold them accountable? Who's going to
yeah.
they all police themselves. Molly Dwyer, the clerk of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals deputy clerk. So, clerk of the court, she in an interview, she actually publicly said, "Yeah, we're not policing the judges for their financial disclosures. We're taking these judges at their word." This was for Manuel Rio, my first judge for my copyright case, who has already shown a pattern of racketeering and ruling in favor of companies that he owns stock in. And he was tried for high crimes and misdemeanors. And guess what? He got let off by Congress.
Oh, yeah.
They had every opportunity to hold him accountable. So then a decade later, there comes Christine. Yeah, they continuously do it. They're not going to do it. Andrew Grant, the chief of the Financial Disclosures Office, he was over there, him and Edwin. Edwin was like, Christine, you got to go to Congress. And I'm like, I can't go to Congress by myself. I mean, at the time I didn't know I could, but I did. But at the time I was like, I can't go. I need you, and I need the chief of the Financial Disclosures Office. They're just gonna blow me off. But now they can't blow me off because I sent them a teaser that I'm gonna write a book about it.
Well, yeah. And we have the power of the pen, and the power of the pen might last way beyond the people that are out
Yes.
here, barking. Because that's all they
Yeah.
can do is bark.
Yeah. They don't do anything. They don't like, there's no use in even filing lawsuits. It's just a waste of time, a waste of energy, a waste of money. I spent, I think, for one document, just one document in the SCOTUS, I want to say it was $9,000. Just one document. What a waste. What a waste. And then what did they fudge the dates for that of when I delivered it, which of course I delivered it on time.
Yeah.
It's the never ending cycle of disgust. So where are we gonna go with all of this? I don't know. I don't know. This country needs God. I'm a big God person. I don't know if you are. But I pray about this stuff all the time. I'm lucky enough to be in this situation. I think it's an amazing opportunity. And like I said, if I was God, I'd be like, okay, I'm just gonna torch the whole earth. Like, they've failed miserably. Like,
Yeah,
there's
they
no,
did it before.
it's yeah, I know. Like, let's just try it again. Like, let's start over from scratch, right? So I don't know. What are the answers? The answers are, one of these exes, he goes, Christine, you should run for president of the United States. I'm like, you know what? I actually thought about it. And he's like, well, you make a hell of a president. Because I would hold these people accountable. I don't care if you're my friend. If you're doing this or you're doing that, right? If it's against the law, you're going to jail. You're going to
Yeah.
jail. There's no like this like swimming around stuff. So I don't know. It's going to be
Well,
interesting.
here's the good news. And the good news is this: our rights are endowed to us inalienably from the Creator. And
Yeah,
so, them telling us that the court decided this, the court decided that, well, that's not where our rights come from.
right. No,
And
I
they're
agree.
all going to face their own justice at some point.
Right. Which is exactly why I've never even retaliated. I could care less. I can only control myself. I can't control other people. But I was like, I know God, and God does not like ugly. I know from I've done like some personal growth myself in the last 30 years, right? Like, I used to be kind of a little snotty.
Well,
Little judgmental.
there's a gentleman, and I use that term very loosely on this, kind of broadcast. And he's one of the first that I ever heard God does not like ugly from. And unfortunately, he was involved in a lot of the corruption that was going on in Compton. And so this is a shout out to him. And I'll just
Shout
say
out
it
to
like
the
this: it's time to repent. It's
yeah,
time for you to come clean about the things that you did. He knows who he is. He's the guy who says God didn't like ugly when Russell Poole passed away. And that was a direct quote. And he was talking about Russell like Russell somehow had done something wrong. And I'll
mm-hmm.
just say, hey, time to repent. Time for you to come clean. Get ready to meet your maker, because that's coming sooner than any of us ever think. And
Right.
it's just time to repent. And all those people that wronged you, I say the same thing to
I did the
them.
same thing. I called it on my social media. I said, I'm asking you to do what's right now. I'm asking you to do what's right. You know who you are. Every single one of you know who you are. Every single one of you know what happened to me is wrong across the boards. There's been 5, I think, out of the group that have reached out to me. I'm not kidding you. Or they accidentally stalk my social media and then like they like the stuff. And but I called out Barbara Solomon, their attorney, AMC Networks. I said, Barbara, I told her back then. She knew back then it was wrong. She did. And I said to her, I'm looking for a positive path forward with you guys. And she thought about it. She did. And I know she still thinks about it. But it is what it is. I can't make you tell the truth, or that's their decision. But they know. And I know. And the book's gonna know.
Well, and
The
the
book's
book's going to
gonna
be
be
a
so
record.
good.
That
Right.
record is going to last, and and if it's well written, which I know it will be, it's
Mhm.
going to stand the testament of time. And
Well,
who they are and what they become may only exist in the future in your
right.
book,
Right.
because they'll be long gone and your book won't be long gone.
Right. And it's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate. But I also, you know what, there's also another side to it too, though. There is, like, I'm fortunate. I don't have any kids. I'm not married. I can keep pushing forward, right? And the sad thing is that some of these people, they have a mortgage to pay. They have a family to raise, kids to put clothes on. You know what I'm saying? Food in their mouths. So would I, if I was in a different situation, I don't know what I would do, right? They're professionally controlled. They have to do it, because if they don't do it, guess what's going to happen to them? They're gone.
Yeah.
They're going to lose their job. How are they going to play? You know, so it's just like, I'm not here to judge like what they've done or why they've made the choices they have. But if anybody were to, one of the police officers, was it Michael Solomon? He actually called me. He called me from an unknown number after like everything was done. And I think the chief of police like had just resigned or something like that, abruptly resigned, because I was digging into that too. I was like, I'll call everybody I need to call, right? I'll get down to the bottom of this. And they were sending me these fake police letters and whatever and all this other stuff saying we looked into ourselves and we didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, well, that's great. And then they even said to me, and if you have any questions, you should ask Michael Solomon. I'm like, Michael Solomon? You mean the defendant in my lawsuit? Like, I mean, that's how big of a joke it was. So he had actually called me, and I was livid, and I was like, "Are you gonna tell me who's tracking me?" And he's like, "No." And I'm like, he's like, "Miss Sawicky, I can't do that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why you're calling me." I'm like, "Do you have daughters? Because you obviously don't have daughters, because if you did, you wouldn't be able to do what you did, right?" Um, and I told him, I said, "Unless you're here to tell me who's tracking me illegally, there's nothing. Don't ever call me again." But he's a defendant in my lawsuit, and he's calling me, not his attorney. He is. So it's like, I think that there's an element of that. I think that at least four attorneys, I think, were either fired or went off the case for opposing counsel. So it's just like, I don't know what happens behind the scenes over like with them, but I do know that at the end of the day, God doesn't like ugly.
God doesn't
And
like
I'm going to
ugly.
heaven. I'm like, after I saw all of you guys, I'm going to heaven. I'll be like up floating with wings and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
So,
and thank God they didn't like rub you out, because that's what they normally do.
well,
I
I
mean,
think they probably tried to.
look at Tupac. It
Yeah.
didn't work out for him. Look at
Right.
Suge Knight. Suge Knight, he had an asset that was worth $500 million. That's the same number that you got ripped off for. Where's
Yeah.
Suge Knight right now? He's sitting in prison in San Diego, in prison. It doesn't work out for these guys.
No, I know. And and I don't know. I don't know. That's why I said I'm a very big God person, because I'm one of the luckiest people I know. Um, I just mind my own business. I go to work, walk my dogs, could care less about anything else, right? I just want to be left alone. But I was in an accident like when I was in LA, and there was on was it part of this? It's hard to tell, right? But I mean, I had so many cars following me in LA with like blacked out windshields, AMC or Mercedes AMGs, you know what I'm saying? Like no license plate. So many times, and I would just walk up and be like, "Do you live in this neighborhood? This is really stupid. I can just email you what I'm doing." I literally go to work, walk my dogs. At the time, I drink a lot of red wine because I don't do drugs. to cope with you assholes. Like, I can tell you. And then the next day it's exactly the same. Like, there's nothing different. But like, there was a point when in LA where there was oncoming ramp on the way to Santa Monica. I was heading to the Santa Monica dog park, and I was in the far left lane on the freeway, or sorry, right lane, oncoming traffic from the on ramp, a cargo van that just pushed me into oncoming traffic. I bounced off cargo van, jumped off across a couple lanes of traffic. I was driving a Fiat 500 at the time. I love that car. Little car. How I survived, I have no idea. I don't know. But there were so many different things. I was in the canyon. They
Yeah.
followed me into the canyon. There was two cars on the side. There's only one way in the canyon. I was house sitting for one of my friends. And they were sitting in their car, like there was a car parked on the right side and then a car parked on the left side. And they were sitting on the sidewalk, just sitting there. And as soon as they saw me, this was obviously when I had the tracker in my car, they got in their cars and they started like following me, right? This is all submitted to the police, and of course nobody cares, right? But I turned around. I actually slowed down. I thought it was funny. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, these people are such losers. Like, you need better things to do with your time than that. Like, follow me. Like, that's so dumb. And so I actually turned around and they went into a thing and I've confronted four of them. And I'm like, looking back, I'm like, am I insane? But like, at no point was I ever afraid, and I still am not, of any of these people. It's not like a joke. They're cowards. Like, you're following around like a girl in LA that is single by herself with her two white fluffy dogs. You must be so tough. Like,
You're one of the
that's
few
like
people.
ultimate gangster.
You're one of the few people I got to go with me down to Compton.
Yeah, I did, because I'm not afraid.
Yeah. That was like not a big deal. I'm like, well, why
No.
are you here? Because I was invited. Okay.
Well, I did in Skid Row. I did remember my homeless soul soup event?
Yeah.
I did that too. So yeah, it's just I don't know. It's I'm lucky. I absolutely still love life. I have the best life ever. I have the best dogs ever. I'm a caregiver during the day, which I didn't think I would like. I didn't even know what it was. It's the awesomest job. I hang out with all these elderly people. I make them laugh all day long. They're
Wow.
like my besties. We have a great time. And then I just work on all my projects on the side, like my professional art and stuff like that. So, I have nothing to complain about. I have nothing to complain about.
So let's flip to what is the solution? I mean, I have my own ideas about the solution, but I want to hear what you have to say about the solution. How do we solve this tangled mess that is the judiciary?
The judiciary. Well, actually did that. So so I have like in my briefing memo, there's like I had legislative recommendations, right? So how do we fix the judiciary, right? So it's like, okay, we need to have mandatory real-time disclosures portal, require like electronic searchable posting of judicial financial disclosures. Right now they have them, but they're not required to like, you can find some of them. The judges' names are under like different names, so you can't actually search them, or they're just not available. Third-party conflict screening, right? I had that. I also said that we can do post-dismissal review process. So let's say something's dismissed, right? Like one of my cases, and you find out that the judge has a financial conflict of interest in it, then that your case can be reviewed, and you can refile it, or it can be pulled out from the situation it's in. Where mine, you can't do anything about it, right? All you do is go to the SCOTUS. They're not going to hear it anyway, and then you move on, right? So I would do the post dismissal review process, and then an enhanced enrollment and penalties. So civil penalties, of course, but there should be criminal liability too, in my opinion. I didn't put that in my briefing memo, but I think that there should be criminal liability. But the problem is we have, how do we get rid of judges, right? Through Congress. And Congress is doing the same thing as the judges.
I mean, and that's the issue. The issue is,
And the
and it doesn't
FBI is
matter.
doing the same thing as the DOJ, and the DOJ is doing the same thing as the president of the United States, whether it's this president or the president before. It doesn't matter. It's all a club. Democrat or Republican, that's not what the issue is. Is
Nope.
there's a club, they're all the same. They're in this little club, and the American people are not in it.
You know, and there is a councilman right now in Compton
Yeah.
caught abusing his credit card, and he did an investigation into himself and wrote a letter and said this case is now closed because I've cleared myself. And I mean, it's the
But that's what they
craziest
all
thing.
do. No, but
Yeah,
that's what every single person in my case did. I
I
didn't
cleared
even give them.
myself. Oh
I
yeah,
cleared
no,
myself.
I looked into myself, and I determined that it wasn't illegal. So,
Everything's
and
fine.
I wrote a little bit of a check to, you know, for to reimburse the city for these other things, whatever it was. A
Right.
little check, not a big
Right.
check, a little check, and I've cleared myself, and so we can all move on now.
Everything's fine. Everything's
Yeah,
fine. Elizabeth Prelager, the former Solicitor General for the United States, right? So she represents the United States in all. She used to when she was the Solicitor General, in all SCOTUS cases, right? And so my case, she was representing because they were federal judges. She was representing them. Okay. So I pulled her financial disclosures. I wanted to see what was going on with Elizabeth Prelager. Why would you actually say bribery of a judge is legal? Okay. She owns stock in BlackRock.
oh,
Do
there
you
you
know
go.
that do you know that she even got when my case was docketed on the SCOTUS docket, she even got reminded about conflicts of interest. I have the
Well,
dates, it's in
yeah,
everything.
I'm going to throw out something nobody's ever heard before, I'm sure.
Right.
But BlackRock makes investments into companies. They have back doors into those companies with their own IP address that only they have access to inside those companies. Nobody else knows this. I know this.
Right.
They have IP addresses. And so before anybody gets any of the financials, any of the information, they have their own independent team that has access to it all of it, and they
Yeah.
get to analyze it before us stupid investors on the outside get to see anything. BlackRock's already looking at it because they have an IP address inside of the companies they invest in.
Yeah.
Now, talk about conflict of interest. And
Well,
and nobody's ever going to stop that. How are you going to stop BlackRock? They own America.
that and Vanguard. That and Vanguard.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just and Verizon. Remember how we were talking about Verizon? So the CEO of Verizon sits on the board of directors for BlackRock.
There you go. Yeah,
And
and it's
Clarence
all this
Thomas is
tight.
doing like hanging out with Verizon executives on his little whatever trip, right? Remember that
Yeah.
when that came out in the news?
Oh
So
yeah.
it's all intertwined. Like it was so bad that like so they have Pacer Monitor, right? So you can look up your federal court cases, your docket, right? So if there's any updates to your case, do you know that they blocked my own IP address from checking my own updates to my own case? So
Yeah, because they
I
wanted you
couldn't
to be
even look.
late.
Right, exactly. And I couldn't even look at my own stuff. I'm like, this is the dumbest stuff I've ever seen in my entire life. And
Yeah,
guess where Pacer Monitor's out of? The Administrative Office of the United States Courts in Washington,
yeah.
D.C.
There you go.
So yeah, but it's good. It'll come out in the book. Um Project Justice is gonna be my baby.
So where are you raising money on this? Is it a Give Send Go or a
Well, I
GoFundMe
have a
or
GoFundMe going right now. Because of the nature of the content, people give me cash instead, or they
okay?
anonymously donate.
Yeah,
There's a lot of that goes on. So I'm very grateful for all of those. But I got asked, well, you can't come out with this book. You're going to get sued because the people that you're writing about are the ones that would fund it. And I'm like, I will fund this myself if I have to. I do not care. I
yeah,
will figure it out. I'll make it for free. I'm like, I did a trailer in LA that should have cost me $15,000 for 500. I think I'm good. Like I'll be
yeah.
just fine. So I don't know, but yeah, Project Justice, the
So
GoFundMe.
is it? Where do people find you? Like if they want to follow you
Social
on
media.
Facebook or
Yes.
what are you on?
Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. My TikTok, everything gets suppressed though. My TikTok is super suppressed. So anytime I post anything that's like juicy, they're like 0 views. I'm like, what a miracle.
Well, send me over all of your social media and I'll put it down in the
Yes.
description of
Okay.
this video on YouTube. I'm probably going to post it on Twitter and Facebook too. You
Okay.
know, I just downloaded StreamYard. So this is
Okay.
kind of the first interview that I'm doing. I'm probably going to do some more. I've got 4 or 5 people that keep asking me to do interviews. And for
Sure.
2 or 3 years, I've been telling them, no, not ready, not time. So
Yeah.
maybe it's time.
Maybe
But
it's time.
love to have you come back. I think you'll
Okay.
see this will get some views, and I'll send you
Yeah.
over links so that you can share it. And anything else that you want to say before we go?
No, I'm just grateful for, thank you for again sticking by me, Michael. You've been the only one from the beginning, from the very, very, very beginning of all of this, and you've never wavered at all.
Well,
So
the
I
truth
appreciate that.
has to mean something, right? The truth
Right.
must mean something.
Right. So
And
I'm very grateful for that.
I saw the non-disclosure from AMC. I saw that stuff.
I
So,
know you did.
because early on, I
But
saw
the
the
internet
evidence.
can't see it. You can't.
No,
Do you know that I had what did I have, like 700 documents? Do you remember that
yeah,
when I met with that
yeah,
attorney? And
yeah,
he's like, "Wow, paperwork's impressive." And then all of a sudden AMC Networks hires a top attorney out of New York and they write some stupid letter and they're like, "Well, we told Christine that the quality of her work was not up to network cable standards." I'm like, "Well, that's interesting because here's an email that's the opposite from that same guy." Like, just shut up with your BS. Like,
yeah.
but they got away with it, Michael. They
They got
freaking
away
got
with it.
away with it. They did.
Yeah, because big money's behind all this. And, if you have a big music catalog, you may not live long. If you have a big catalog of entertainment shows, you may not live long. I mean,
Right.
that's just the reality. The life expectancy for a very successful, recording artist is always low. And,
Right.
we need to change that. And people need to be able to keep their own intellectual property. That's what needs to
Absolutely.
change. So
Absolutely.
we'd love to see that happen. And
Yes.
with that, I'm going to end it. It is probably going to play your
Okay.
little teaser again at the end. So
Perfect.
enjoy,
Keep
everybody.
watching it. Share it. Thank you,
That's
everyone,
it.
for listening.
Like and share. There you go.
Okay.
Take care.
Thanks, Michael. Have a great day.
Bye now.
Bye. Bye. There comes a moment in every life where silence becomes betrayal, where truth demands a voice, and that voice refuses to be silenced. What I uncovered wasn't a single mistake. It was a system problem, quietly repeated, professionally protected, and rarely challenged by those without money or power. My name is Christine Sawicky. I'm an investigative researcher, legal advocate, and artist. For years, I fought inside the American justice system alone, documenting patterns that were never meant to be seen. I wasn't supposed to win. I wasn't even supposed to survive it. But faith kept me standing. Silence is how the machine survives. This book is how it doesn't. It's about what happens when an ordinary citizen refuses to disappear, when documentation replaces intimidation and persistence outlasts power. With your help, we can bring this story to life. Your support will fund the writing, production, and development of Project Justice, the book that begins the journey and the film that will carry it worldwide. Together, we fight back with faith, with courage, and with light. I'm publishing this book independently because systems don't correct themselves. They're corrected by people willing to tell the truth publicly. Join me. Let's tell the story they tried to erase.